Hey, it's Laura.
It's Amanda.
And
we
we're
are Moms on a Mission, where faith, motherhood, and purpose come together.
We're not just raising children, we're raising disciples, striving to make an eternal impact in our homes and beyond.
Here, we choose grace over guilt, progress over perfection, and God's truth over the world's noise.
Together, we'll encourage, uplift, and equip one another to walk boldly in our calling as mothers on a mission.
So, grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's dive into this journey of faith-filled motherhood, one step, one prayer, and one mission at a time. Welcome back to Moms on a Mission. This is episode 22.
Double deuces.
Yes! Got it right that time, too.
Double deuces. Yes, we did.
Double deuces. We've had awesome, things for each one of the episodes lately.
We have.
Venti plus one. Now we have double deuces.
Yeah, even though last week I said that our podcast was old enough to drink, and you were like, it's a Christian podcast. I should have said, I don't drink. I was just saying that the podcast is old enough to drink.
I think that played out very well. We were just quite appalled at.
Nah. And then I said, leave it.
Yep. Yeah, we're getting on up there in episodes now.
We're trying. We're trying.
Well, so this one is going to be no different from the rest. We are talking things that affect us moms. So our guilt factor is, are we teaching our kids the hard lessons of movement and nutrition?
Healthy habits.
Healthy habits, yes. Are we teaching our kids healthy habits? That's our guilt factor today. And I was a bit hesitant about this one because I did not want anybody to feel as if we were like making judgment from any place.
Yeah, singling out any moms for the decisions that they make.
Yeah, no, or stepping on anybody's toes. That is not. I had something happen to me with my boys, and I thought, you know what? I feel like we all deal with this in some aspect or another. We should dig in because this is a little bit touchy. It's one of those things that can kind of get swept under the rug because it's more uncomfortable in some cases, but we need to talk about it. So we're going to talk about it.
Yep. And we're going to do it from a biblical perspective as always.
Yes. Yep, absolutely.
So nourishing the body and feeding the soul.
Yes. Ooh, that's good. She just comes up with this stuff.
Again, like you said, it's kind of a to each their own. This came up because of an incident that you specifically had that kind of stirred your heart a little bit, and hey, maybe we should bring this to the attention of some of our listeners.
Yep.
I'm sure at some point other moms have either dealt with something similar or faced something, along the same line.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to put it out there and see what you guys think.
Yep. All right. Do you want to pray?
Yes. I've got mine on go over here.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Lord, we come before you today with grateful hearts. Thank you for the gift of motherhood, for the families that you've entrusted us with, and for this community of women who desire to live on mission for you. We ask that you would fill this time with your presence. We ask that you guide our words, soften our hearts, and open our minds to receive the truth of your word. Help us to be encouraged, challenged, and strengthened as we talk together. Remind us that our ultimate mission as moms is to love you first and to lead our families closer to you. Everything we say and do, may it bring you honor and glory. And in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen, amen.
All right, so let's dig into this topic. So I'll start off with what happened to me and what brought this into my head and onto my heart. So last night we are sitting up in our bonus room, which we've turned into like a boy game room palace.
Playroom,
yes.
Flex space.
Yes, it's got a foosball table. It has a dartboard now, and there's even like a workout machine that was there when we moved in.
Oh, nice.
So we left that up there, and all toys, Legos, all the stuff. And so we're all hanging out up there last night, and the guys are playing darts. And in between all their turns, so it's my two boys and Matt. And in between their turns, Matt was like, "Oh, hey, Abel, you ought to get on that machine and do some, reps or whatever on the machine." And he was like, "I don't want to do that." He said, "Make Luke do it," the youngest. And he's like, "Hey, man, he's playing a sport right now. Why don't you hop on there, get a few reps in?" And my youngest son is like, "I mean, I need it too." He's like, "Just because I'm playing a sport doesn't mean I shouldn't be on it too." And I was like, "Wait, wait, wait.
Oh, pump the brakes.
Yes, hold the phone. Everybody needs to be clear on this right now. We as mom and dad are not judging you. We're not saying, 'Hey, man, you're a little thick around the middle there.' No, that's not what we're doing. We want you guys to understand that that this stuff is important.
Movement's important.
Yeah, movement and continuing to keep ourselves healthy, taking care of our bodies. It's not about who's doing what or anything, what anybody looks like, nothing like that. It's just the and it came about because this has all been one big kind of thing that's been going on at the house. My youngest is playing baseball still and has played a sport ongoing. My oldest does not want to play sports anymore. He didn't love baseball. He's just not a big athlete. He did
Yeah.
not enjoy that. Um, he gets really kind of, shuts down and embarrassed like when he's out there in front of people and super nervous. He didn't like team sports. He loved archery, but now his school doesn't have a team and all this kind of stuff. So he's not involved in anything right now. Also, fact is, he loves technology. It's not just games and stuff like that. He loves computer systems. He loves coding. He loves graphic design. He loves it. But the downfall of that is that it's very lethargic. He has to sit in front of a computer to do the things that he likes to do. And so we've been telling him, okay, we're not going to force you into the team sport, but you got to do something.
Yeah.
You've got to move your body in some way or another. Now he's in middle school and they are no longer required to take PE all the time.
Which is surprising to me.
I know. I was kind of surprised by that too because PE was an elective choice and he didn't have to choose it at all. And if he doesn't
I
choose
figured it would still be somewhat mandatory
same
at the middle school level.
I thought that too, but it is not. Right from what I can understand, it's not. So no PE during the day. Now that they're in middle school, they get a break, but not necessarily a recess.
Yeah.
And now he's not playing a sport. So there's no movement time for us going from, that 10-year-old that at least most evenings was at a park somewhere, moving, throwing a ball, running at some capacity, whatever.
Right.
Now we're at 12 and no forced movement, essentially.
Yeah, that just came to a screeching halt.
Yeah. And so I was like, please understand all the things we've been talking to you guys about, all the things we want you to know is not because we're sitting back here judging you and thinking, he's really, and nothing like that. We're your parents. We want you to know the facts. And the facts are if you don't move and you don't get, some sort of movement, whether it's on a machine or weightlifting or tennis, pickleball,
Something.
some sort of sport or movement, walking, just a significant amount of walking, it's going to start affecting you. And not just the way that your body looks, but also internally, the way you feel. Sleepiness, all kinds of different things.
Fatigue. Yeah.
And so that's what we want to teach you guys. We're not sitting back here judging you and thinking, we need to get this kid into athletics. And it's not like that. And so all of that to say, I think that a lot of moms are dealing with this at this point of like, when your kids do decide what they really like and what they don't like, if it's not sports, does all that movement almost immediately fall off? Or maybe they have siblings, that do play and that are in really good shape. And then there's the other siblings, are dealing with other things. Maybe they don't have the same type of body. Maybe they don't look the same. Maybe, they don't enjoy the same things. They're definitely doing, one's doing a ton of activity, probably eating whatever, kind of things they want. The other one doesn't, have that luxury type of thing.
Right.
So I just felt like this is something that a lot of moms can relate to, whether we want to or not.
Yeah. Because we talked about it before we started recording and said, I think you and I are on the same page as far as of course, I want my boys moving around. This was for the last several months. It has been like Maddox's interest to pursue basketball.
Mhm.
He's never played organized basketball. We did do a summer camp at the high school over the summer with his best buddy and seemingly had a great time, learned some stuff, enjoyed it. And just within the last probably 2 weeks or so has actually come back to me and said, Mom, I don't think I want to play. And I'm like, okay, is there a reason why? I think I just want to maybe try to go back and play baseball in the spring for his school because if you're a seventh grader and up, you can play for the school, which would be a different experience for him because he's only played rec ball. So I think that it would be cool. I think
Yeah.
that he would enjoy that. But it just kind of out of nowhere, not wanting to pursue basketball has thrown us off course, so to speak, because he's not playing a fall sport.
Right.
And my kind of hard and fast rule is you can't do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We can try different things. We can do a short season something. We can do a longer season something. But I don't want my kids to just sit here and not do anything either.
Right.
Of course, I want them to love baseball. If they don't, that's okay. That is just my passion, but I can't force it to be theirs. Now, of course, because I love it so much, watching them play baseball is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
It just is. They're named after baseball players, both of them. But Maddox really does love hunting and fishing.
Yep.
And they fish in a couple different circuits, which I get is also it's a lot of standing up on the boat, not a ton of walking around or physical in the fact of, it's not a team sport, we're not on a field, we're not chasing a ball. I would still consider it a sport though, for sure.
Yeah.
The competition aspect of it and whatnot, the art behind it, there's still a lot that goes into it. So, and I do appreciate that. Hunting, of course, I feel like is very physically involved. Walking to and from your spot, of
Hauling,
course,
climbing.
When you shoot something, getting it out of the woods, that can all be pretty physically demanding. So, I'm not worried about him in that aspect. Like I said, the lack of interest in basketball just all of a sudden has kind of thrown us off of what I thought our winter would look like.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Holt will want to play organized basketball again. He really enjoyed that. He is playing fall baseball. But it's also like, I think, like you touched on, when they are not moving. So I'm thinking, like, okay, Maddox is going to be the brother in the stands this fall. Now, you already know that he's not going to sit in the stands and play on a phone.
That's what they want to do.
Play on an iPad.
I get that
Yes.
question every time. Can I bring
Can
my
I take? Yes.
my Nintendo?
Yep. Like, no, we're going to go sit there. We're going to watch. We're going to pay attention. We're going to be involved because you know as well as I do that there are, and no judgment, though, that there are parents that bring the sibling along that is either aged out, either way, not old enough or too old, and they are just the ballpark sibling.
Yeah.
And that's what they do is they sit over there and they play on an electronic. I didn't have siblings when I played, but the ballpark siblings always had like a wiffle ball bat and were off in the corner,
Yeah.
Playing a game together amongst themselves. And now it's like they just kind of sit there and veg out on electronics, even at the ballpark.
Yeah. I think some of that's out of fear too, of like people
Not
are
letting
just
them wander
so
off,
afraid to
yeah.
let them wander and be so far. So you either watch this kid at the game or you watch this kid over on the playground. And like we have a park locally that as much as everyone loves the playground, everyone hates the playground
So
because
far away.
it's so far, and all the littles that are there because Big Brother's on the baseball field, they want to be on the playground. Well,
You can't
you
see.
can't do both.
Yeah, you can't see
have,
down there.
yes, and it's like, you know, so like it's not like you said, it's not a judgment factor. It's just stuff that we're dealing with that we just like. Sometimes I feel like does need to be addressed.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things that it's been a hard conversation for a while with my oldest because he knows he doesn't like physical activity.
Right.
He doesn't like it. It's
Yeah.
just the facts. Like
Everybody doesn't. It doesn't mean it's not important,
right.
but there's several things that, even to myself, they're important. It doesn't mean that I like them.
Yes.
So just discipline at that point, and really just trying to reiterate the fact that, boys, these things are for longevity.
Yes.
These are just important, lifelong things that we need to be doing.
Yeah. Well, and like some of this stuff is like a natural tendency. Like we have put both of my boys in baseball lessons before.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I say lessons. It was one lesson because we were like, maybe they'll listen to someone else.
How'd that work out?
Well, the thing about that was, and I think this has probably happened to many moms, is the youngest one, the guys are like, wow, man, this is exact words. One of the coaches was like, you're about to spend a ton of money on that kid. He was like, he's a natural born athlete. You tell him to do one thing and he gets it and he does it. The other one
Who does
they didn't
not
say,
really care,
yes,
but doesn't
want to be there throwing a fit over it and doesn't care about it at all. Nobody's saying those things about him. And so now, it's like oh, come on, Abel, you can do that, come on, like try again, or, and then they're like, wow, oh yeah,
Which, let's say, even if they don't want to be there, that's still going to hurt their feelings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because from the outside, you're like, well, if you'd put a little effort in, maybe they would say that about you. From the inside, they're like, why would I even, like, I don't want to do this anyways, so why would I put the effort in and try to impress someone? Like, they might make me come back.
Yeah. Oh, no.
So I get those things. It's just, I just want my kids to be knowledgeable about what happens when you stop moving. And I feel okay saying some of this stuff because I have had to be very mindful about my physical activity. I think
Because of your back problems.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I have 2 rods in my back and they were put there when I was 12 years old. And the doctor that did it was very blunt. He was like, 2 things you can't do. Don't jump out of an airplane. Don't jump on a trampoline. He's like, and on top of it, if you want to move, you want to be comfortable, pain-free, stay thin, stay lean, keep your core strong. If you don't, you will hurt, you won't be able to move, and you're going to be miserable. If
Which
you
is
do,
pretty bold to hear as a 12-year-old.
yeah. Yeah, and I have since found out, I cannot tell you how thankful I am for that man.
Oh, for sure.
Because there are, it was because of scoliosis. I have a severe twisting C curve in my spine. So by the time they did surgery, it was at a 45-degree angle and spinning.
Oh, wow.
So they wanted to put a stop to the C curve before it affected organs. And the twist is just an unfortunate, they're like, again, stay strong, stay physical. Hopefully your muscle mass can keep that in line enough to not really cause a ton of problems. And up to this point, I'm 38. I have not had a ton of problems. Knock on wood. Yes. Think about every day. What's it gonna be like when I'm 80? I don't know.
Right.
I'm gonna hand that to God and leave it there. But I I was told that, and I'm so thankful because there's a lot of people in that world that were told they cannot they cannot twist, they cannot jump, they should not run. There was all these things that they were told they never could do. And so there's a ton of things that they feel like they couldn't do, but I was never told that. So I just did everything except jump on a trampoline and jump out of an airplane, which was kind of I wanted to skydive when I was
Did
younger.
you?
I wanted to, yeah.
Oh man.
The that pull,
Yeah.
you can't the jolt up, you can't do it. Anyways,
We can't roll the dice on that one.
yeah. So I this is something that has been on my in my life for since I was a child. It's not something that, I'm like, I just have always felt this way and that we should be doing these things. And I had to. There was physically, if I wanted to move, I had to be responsible about it. And so, I'm very thankful for that
Yeah.
because I've had to be aware. And when I'm not, or when I'm not conscious about it, I mean, believe me, there's a 10 to 15 pound fluctuation, and I can tell the difference between the two big time.
Yeah.
And so, and just in how I physically feel, my back hurts when I stop working out, when I stop walking, when I start putting, some pounds on in the middle, I feel it so bad. So it's always been in the forefront. And now as we kind of move into these different ways of doing things in our culture, we kind of tend to get offended about things sometimes and
Right.
in our current culture. I think people kind of shy away, even doctors. I feel like they're starting to shy away from conversations about physical activity, healthy weights, different things like that because they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Yeah.
And I don't either, but I just think as parents, if you don't look at it from that perspective of like my kids are going to think I'm judging them, you're not judging them. You're just giving them the facts. If they stay physically active and moving and they eat healthy, they'll keep their teeth.
Mm-hmm.
They'll, feel good for longer, and they'll be in, more than likely, they'll be in decent physical shape. They'll be able to run, climb, and do things that they want to do at different points in their life.
Yep. Nope. You're exactly right because I'm sure I'm not going to say everybody, but to some extent, I think it's a very popular concept of the scenario where you go, I'll do anything for my kids. I'll do anything for them. I'll do anything for them.
That's true.
And it's like, will you eat right for them? Will you get enough rest? Will you lead by example and work out and take care of yourself and show them what like honoring your body and honoring God through your body looks like?
Yeah.
Well, I won't do that one.
Or be honest with them about
Yeah.
those things.
And again, that doesn't mean that they're easy or even enjoyable, but I feel like if you are strong and healthy, and of course what you put into your body has a direct effect on it.
Oh yeah.
We've said garbage in, garbage out. That can even go for if you're putting garbage into your body, you're responding with less patience.
Mm-hmm.
You're more irritable.
Yeah.
But if you're taking care of your body, watching what you eat, getting some exercise, no matter what the latest weight loss trend is, if you, I feel, ask anyone from a maybe medical, maybe like, healthcare industry perspective, what's the best way to lose weight? Diet and exercise. We've heard these things for forever.
Yep.
They start to be taught towards us in health class, probably in middle school.
Yeah.
Diet and exercise. I feel like everything goes back to that.
Eat less, move more.
Yes. And, we just live in a culture where, fast food is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obviously way more convenient than sitting down, taking the time, making a meal.
Yep.
Which that and technology I feel like have just like riddled our society
Yeah.
with people. I would I don't know any statistics on this, but I feel like the more people are addicted to technology, their screens, their phones, whatever, the more obese as a society we have become
Oh, absolutely.
because people are moving less. And I don't remember what the statistic was. Um, it was actually from a couple years ago, and it was at the height of COVID when people had the ability, obviously, to Grubhub or have food delivered. Of course, that hit an all time high.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like since then, the convenience of just being able to order food from your phone, it has led to less human interaction
Yeah.
because people don't just go out on a weeknight and grab dinner anymore. They just have it called in and delivered.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and of course, it's also had direct effects with people's mental health, um, suicide rates,
Yeah.
everything. And I just, you can't help but trace it back to, these things.
Yeah.
And it does create a whole digital world where we're connected with people constantly.
Yes.
Set them down and go outside.
Well, I'll tell you, it speaks directly to me because I have a lot of projects. Well, every project that we have in, no matter if you own a restaurant, if you're a physical, like if you're a personal trainer, if you do social media, if you if you're a photographer, if you're a real estate agent, everything goes back to the computer.
Yep.
You might have to show property for a while, but then if we're going to put a contract on it, right back to the computer. Well, now it's time to market to the computer. We're going to, we have an event coming up. We have to put it on the computer. Everything goes back to the computer. It doesn't matter what we are doing or farming. I know farmers who have beautiful, amazing social media.
Yep.
Why? Because they have to be connected through the computer as well as outside in their gardens and on their farms.
Yep.
They could be doing veggies, they could be doing meat, it doesn't matter what it is, it's all connected back to the computer. Stocking, inventory, marketing, making connections with all of your other vendors and the people that you need, it's all digital. So in order to in order to make anything happen, we have to find ourselves sitting in front of a screen at some point during the day. That's
Sure.
just how our culture works now.
Absolutely.
And so if you can order a meal in rather than absolutely having to stop and either go pick it up or go to a restaurant or cook it at the stove, then that allows me, I'm speaking to myself, I just bought myself an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to do with that hour? I'm going to keep working on the computer.
Yep. Yep. I'm not going to get up.
No, I didn't have
keep
to.
working on
I
the
ordered it on
computer.
my phone. Now I can continue working. It'll be here in a second. And when it comes, I can sit at the computer and eat it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel that too. I think there is a benefit to it in that if you can just carve out the time, we've gone and walked and we're there together, so we're communicating.
Yes.
If you're by yourself, your phones can be an asset. Put a podcast on.
Yeah.
And
That's
go
how
for
I
a
listen
walk.
to my Bible in the morning.
Yes. I listen to the Bible a lot. Last year, or the recap, the daily recap. Going from point A to point B, throw it on. You got a 15-minute ride. That was plenty time.
Yeah.
But if you're alone, you can utilize it. You can listen to some music.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still the first step is that you're getting out to go and do something physical.
Yeah. And it's harder than ever. And I feel that myself. I know how aware I have to be. I understand nutrition. I walk almost every day. I count my steps.
Do you wear a weighted vest?
No.
No.
Mm-mm. No, I got a pretty big weight on my front.
No vest necessary.
That might mess up my vision if I wear something on top. But and I love Pilates. Like, I am a
Oh, that's right.
physical
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
and I still struggle to get that time in every single day. It's still I have to make that conscious decision. I have to just stop and be like, okay, just put it down for a minute. Like, I still, even being all aware and conscious of all those things, it's still a huge struggle for me. And I know that if we struggle with that personally, teaching our kids and showing it to them is 10 times harder.
Yep.
And we
Absolutely, it
don't want
is.
them to feel like we're like being ugly to them or
No, and we're fortunate. We have a home gym here, and oftentimes Maddox will come in here and he'll hop on it, or hop on the elliptical all by himself,
Mhm.
and he'll knock out a mile.
Oh, nice.
And sometimes it's while he's upstairs doing homework related stuff, and I think he just gets to a point where he's exhausted, he doesn't want to keep going, but he does still have something left that he's got to knock out, but instead of going right into it, he'll take a break. And sometimes for him that means coming down here and knocking out a mile.
It's a great habit.
And I'm like, good for you.
It's so easy to just go lay down and shut your eyes for a minute
Yeah.
instead of, but like if you can get out the door and
He
walk.
never goes and like lays down and shuts his
Mm.
eyes for like never, which I'm sure is comes directly from me because when I'm up for the day.
Yeah.
I almost never take a nap. I just can't.
Are you one of those like disgusted at a nap? Like I cannot even like a true nap. Like I'll do like a 10-minute like siesta.
I can't do either one, but like a true nap, no, I can't do it.
I'm always
I
like, ugh, I cannot.
No.
No.
When I'm up for the day, I'm up for the day, and most everybody knows I generally operate off of about 5 hours of sleep, and I don't drink coffee, and I don't know. I feel like that time will run out sooner than later, and I will be a sleepy,
I don't know though, because you don't fall into it. I think, and that's what I was telling my boys last night too. I was like, I want you guys to stay physical, so it's easy to do.
Yes.
If you stop being physical, it's a actual scientific law. When you lose momentum, it is a lot harder to get it going again
Yes.
than it was to just keep it going
Remain
in the first
going.
place.
Yes.
And
Yep.
so if you quit and you stop moving and you allow the, this kind of thing to come over you where you're like, not today. And then tomorrow comes and you're like, not today. If you slow that momentum, it's so easy to stop and then just not start again.
Yeah.
And that's what I was telling them, it's so much easier if you just keep going. I mean, they're little skinny little, little wiry little things right now. Like, don't stop that because you can just keep it going. My oldest, he doesn't love the group sports. Okay, fine, but like we're supposed to go and play some pickleball today.
I love
Like
pickleball.
just keep moving. I told him, I'm like, there's kids CrossFit. If you like the
Mhm.
more gym setting, we can do a gym setting. If you like, baseball, basketball, tennis, pickleball, I don't care what it is. I just want you to
something.
move.
Just
Yes.
move your body.
Yep.
Especially if he doesn't even get the chance to at school. Like
Yeah.
I said, I thought for sure in middle school they would have to. It would be a mandatory elective.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
know. I
not.
thought that too. And not as far as I know, it could be misunderstanding and that it's just like it's going to show up somewhere at some point. But as of right now, it's not, as far as I know, they don't have to take it if they don't want to.
Wow.
But and we kind of touched on it a little bit. There is a whole nother side of this coin, which is the nutrition part of it.
Yeah.
And again, these are hard conversations. Just last night, we had pizza left over from the night before. So, okay, keep in mind, we're having pizza 2 nights in a row. And my oldest he came in, he's like, I'm starving. Can I have a piece of pizza? I was like, sure. Well, that was my plan for dinner. So he had a piece of pizza and he's like, can I have another one? I was like, eat some like fruit or something, some protein, find something else.
Yeah.
He's like, okay. So he had some strawberries or grapes or something. Well, then we got back home from ball field for little brother. He comes in, we warm up piece of pizza. and I think he maybe had 2 pieces. And then he was like, I think he had a root beer
Oh,
with
yeah.
his dinner. And he was like, "Can I have an ice cream sandwich?" I was like, "All right, let's
Whoa, whoa,
hold
whoa,
off
whoa,
for a
whoa.
sec. Let's think about the intake you've had since 3 o'clock this evening, or 3 o'clock this afternoon. You had 1 piece of pizza when you came home. You had Yes, you had some water, but you also had a soda. You had 2 pieces of pizza for dinner, and now you want an ice cream sandwich." And he was like, "Ah, yeah, okay, I'll skip the ice cream sandwich." Like, I don't want him to be. I don't want him to think that I'm like, "No, not for you, sir." Like,
Yeah.
that's not it. It's just the calorie intake and the sugar intake was extreme, and carbohydrate intake was extremely high yesterday.
And they
So,
just got to be, well, good for him for being mindful of, instead of going, okay, what's the problem?
well, he knows it's a losing battle. We've been fighting this battle for a while, and I've been trying to be open with them and just on the scientific fact of things. Like, turn it over, look at the calorie count. How many calories are in that? Like,
Yeah, a million.
the other day we saw there was something we got these amazing sugary waffles from Aldi.
Aldi is the jam.
They are so good. But they are sweet.
Are they?
This one kind that we had, when you bit into it, there was like sugar crystals on it. And I was like,
Oh,
"Oh man." They're tiny.
I have not purchased those,
They're
clearly.
so good. But so they were little. So, when he has them in the morning, I'm like, "Oh, just do one of those. Please
Yeah.
don't do 2 of those." And so he said something, and I was like, "Oh, they're so good, but I can't, I don't want to do that." And he was like, "It's just one of them." And I was like, "Did you know there's 200 calories in one of those waffles? There's 170 calories in that entire ice cream sandwich in there. The ice cream sandwich is, this long and probably about that thick.
Yeah.
Or the waffle is like this." I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go for that ice cream sandwich.
Yeah. Get more bang for my buck that
Yes,
way.
and so just the awareness of, like, turn the box over. Let's just see what's in it. We've had those discussions, but also how many calories are in it. If if it's crunching when you bite into it from sugar crystals,
That's a lot.
that's a whole nother discussion about teeth too, which we had before
Yeah.
we started, because my boys have mouthfuls of cavities, both of them. They've had them since they were little. It's an ongoing battle. And the dentist said it's my fault. But I swear to you, I don't have cavities. I never have, knock on wood. And I have always felt like it's a bit of a genetic
Genetic,
thing.
yeah.
Matt's always had a mouthful of cavities. He has like very porous teeth. This is, in my mind, this is how this happens.
Right. Yeah.
It's
No.
not like he doesn't take care of them. He does way more for his teeth than I do. But my boys have a mouthful of cavities. So we're having this conversation with the dentist. The dentist is like, "You have to be very aware of sugar." I'm like, "You are preaching to the choir right now.
I am very aware of
I'm
sugar.
very aware." He's like, you probably think you are, but you're probably not, because there's sugar in almost every single thing we eat. Could be a natural sugar from a strawberry all the way up to sugar crystals on a waffle.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't realize how much sugar is in the food that we eat these days. So I've tried to be aware. And yeah, if you think you're going to avoid sugar, I know there's diets out
luck.
there, but
It's in everything. And when we were talking before we were recording, I said, I still at 12 don't let my kids drink soda, especially dark soda.
yeah, same.
Now, do I know that they have consumed it before? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have open access to be able to drink soda? No.
Yeah.
We do. And like I said, it's, of course, they love sweet tea. That's really not any better when it comes to like a sugar comparison.
Right.
When we allow them to have it, we try to always at least say, a half and half mixture.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they'll even do the tea and the lemonade together. Again, that's still full of sugar.
Yeah.
I don't know what, it's just like a mental thing. I don't want them to drink dark soda. Now I do. But for them, and like you said, root beer, like
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
do
Abel
they do
likes root
like they
beer.
do like some root beer. But the whole um water, juice, and juice has a lot of sugar in it too. But water primarily is going to be like my first choice for them.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, I won't say all the time, but I'm fairly proud of how often they just choose water on their own
Yeah.
without being prompted. That does make me proud. Um, and sometimes that doesn't come without a little bit of a pushback.
Yes.
But I'm like, if you've already had this or that today, like, let's have a water.
Right. I do the same thing. But what have you had today? If you had
Yeah.
a soda, like we buy the mini cans too. So I'm like,
Yes, we're team mini cans.
yeah, if you've had somebody told me once they're like, those are more expensive. I'm like, don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Um, they, I'm like, if you've had one of those, then you know more of that, you know?
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
are they more expensive if they actually get consumed
that's
and
my
you're not
thing.
wasting
I
half of
dumped
a
the
large
other one
can?
out anyway. So,
Yeah.
I
I'm,
don't know.
I'm going mini cans.
Daniel put a stat up for us. A single can of soda can contain up to 10 teaspoons of sugar. It's more than the recommended daily amount for kids. So
That's
in
frightening.
one can of soda,
Yep.
it's more than the entire day should have been consumed. That's wild.
Which this will come as absolutely no shock to anybody. My favorite podcasters, specifically David Pollock, he says religiously on the podcast. Now, he is a big health guy. He hasn't drank a soda in like 25 years and is super mindful of his daily calorie intake, what he eats, what he doesn't eat. And he will tell you all the time. He says, don't drink your calories.
Yes.
Don't drink your calories.
Yep, absolutely.
And until he said it out loud, I'd never heard that concept or really even put two and two together. But knowing that he's like such a big advocate for that, I'm like, makes perfect sense.
You know, when you were talking about the kids too, I remembered a discussion I had when my first was little bitty. I put water in his bottle, and one of the grandmas was like, "Don't do that. You can't do that." And I was like, "Why not?
They'll choke.
It's just water." And she was like, "They are supposed to drink milk." And I was like, "He did have milk, but I think he's had enough milk right now."
Now
and
he's
and
got.
I just put water in there. And she was like, "Babies aren't supposed to have water." I'm like,
Why?
I feel fine with it. Like,
Ours used to tell us not to put water in the same bottle that he drank milk out of because it was thinner.
oh yeah,
The milk had a little, thicker content to it with the formula being mixed in. And she was like, he'll choke because the flow of it is, so much less being water.
yeah.
And so she was like, if you do it, just, size up with, or I guess technically it would be down to like lessen the flow.
Mm-hmm.
But she was like, don't throw water in the same exact bottle that they drink from because it'll just, it'll flow out and it'll choke them.
Can I tell you? I think all that stuff is old wives' tales.
And it may be. She was, at that time, the lady that we saw, she was probably on the brink of retirement.
Well, so I looked it up when she told me that, and I was like, it said, there was like all these different things about water. There was an idea of like the baby has had too much liquid if they're still drinking water after all this milk, and it can what is that? Aspirate into the lungs and
Yeah.
all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm giving my baby water.
Yeah.
I didn't like let them drown in it, but I gave it to them, and it was very conscious because I wanted them to have that flavor or lack thereof
Yep.
all the time since they were little. Not everything had to have the taste of something. Water was being consumed naturally. It was from the time that it was in a bottle. And like, I think my sister-in-law put tea in their bottles one time. I was like, don't ever put tea in that baby's bottle ever again. Because I, in my mind, I was developing the things that they liked and that they didn't like. And they didn't have sugar up to that point. So I didn't want to introduce it until it just was like, oh, give that baby a piece of cake,
Yeah. Which I think goes hand in hand with and I'm sure you were taught the same thing, to introduce like bland vegetables before
Yes.
sweet fruits, because if they tasted the sweet fruits first,
Yep.
then they wouldn't want the bland vegetables.
So everybody in my family thought I was crazy. I used to, I know this is kind of gross, but it was for my own kid. But I would chew up everything, meats,
Yeah.
vegetables, potatoes, everything. And I would just take little bits of it, even when they were like way
Teeny
younger than
tiny.
you ever thought, like 5, 6 months old. And I would just put it on their tongue and in their mouth so that they got a flavor of food.
Yeah.
And like, I will tell you what, my kids aren't picky. We went through this whole thing with when they were getting a little bit older, Matt would play games with them and while they were eating, and I knew what kind of portions I wanted them to have. I knew I wanted them to love green vegetables. So I was very aware of that from the beginning. So I knock on wood, not patting myself on the back, but they do eat very healthy.
Yeah.
And now having those continued conversations of like, hey man, check out that calorie count. Check out what kind of stuff is in that. What's your how much sugar have you had today? Thinking about all those things. And poor Abel, he's had to sit through so many cavity fills that, he's like, okay,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to like mess with that either, and so and my hope is that they've never look at it like I was just being judgmental or ugly to them, or
Mean
I wanted
mom.
my kid to look a certain way, because it's not that at all. I just
No.
want them to know, want them to be educated. I don't want them to have to deal with diabetes. I don't want them to be on medication all the time. I want them to, if they want to go and hike, I want them to hike, be
Yep.
able to hike.
Strong and healthy.
Yes, I want them to be able to run. I want them to be at school. Somebody wants to do a pickup game of something. Sure, they can play.
Yeah.
I want that for them. And I know that everybody else wants those things for their kids too. But there has to be uncomfortable conversations in the middle of that to get to that point.
Yep. And I think you're doing a great job with that, and certainly leading by example.
I know. Told you
and
we had. Did you hear me say we had 2 pieces of pizza the other night
I heard
with
you.
root beers?
I heard you. Like you said earlier, speaking to yourself, speaking to mine as well. Um, because we do. Now it certainly has helped over the last couple of summers having our own garden out back
Mm-hmm.
with
Oh, that helps so much.
eating fresh, because you can literally taste the difference.
Oh yeah, they'll go out, but they like going out and eating it.
Yeah.
Tomatoes off the vine, lettuce out of the ground, okra. Somebody told me to eat raw okra the other day. I was like,
I'm probably not going to do that.
they said the key was to get them when they're like just a couple of like brand new.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I've never done that, but I love me some grilled okra, so I'm gonna
Yes.
stick with that.
Yes.
But I don't know. Luke would probably do it. He'd probably eat the leaves off of it. I don't know.
Yeah. Now that doesn't mean that we pick the garden and, come upstairs and prepare everything in a super healthy way, because Josh loves some squash casserole,
Oh yeah.
which of course is, butter, cheese,
Yep. Breaded
crushed
zucchini.
crackers,
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
But, mentally I feel better because it comes out of my backyard and not from the store.
Ever had a fresh strawberry out of your yard?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's not even. There's no comparison.
They're amazing.
At all. They're a quarter of the size.
Yes, they are.
And they're little sugar bombs.
Yep.
They are so delicious.
They are so good.
Yep.
The tomatoes always do really well, though. I love fresh tomatoes.
Yeah.
But some of the things that, if you had any notes, some of the things that I wanted to reference was, and we've kind of touched on it, of course, food was created for our enjoyment, but like anything else, it can become an idol when we misuse it, turning to it for comfort instead of to God.
Yes, that's a whole nother mom factor.
Yeah, it is.
That's alive and well in a lot of areas in my family, for me too. I find a lot of comfort in some chocolate now.
Yeah,
lots of it, and I now I've tried to switch that over to like a dark chocolate, but like if there's like real upset there, I'm about to like that fridge better watch out.
Yeah, here
like,
I come.
I find comfort in that. I know some people, like my sister-in-law, if she's upset or's got something going on, she cannot eat for days. Not me. I'm about to consume for both of us.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the thing I put up a couple weeks ago? It was a joke, of course, but it was like, "Hey, does this constitute fruit?" And it was chocolate-covered blueberries.
Yes, but that was a reference to the favorite podcast.
It was, but I put it up there and I don't know, I had maybe 20 or 25 people that responded to it because
For
I
real?
made it a poll.
Oh, I did
And
not know
it
that.
was a poll and it was 80% yes, it does constitute fruit.
Have
So I
mercy.
was like,
Okay,
"Okay, friends, I see you."
let me just put this out as a public service announcence. Okay, Yoo-hoo is not milk.
It's chocolate drink.
It is, there is no milk in there.
No, have you on the box, it literally says chocolate drink.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I have had someone tell me that they are so thankful that their little granddaughter likes Yoo-hoo because at least she's getting some milk. I'm
That
like,
ain't milk.
oh no. I said a little prayer internally.
Yep.
It's like,
Yep.
I'm not going to go there. I'm going to leave that there.
That's not milk. It's not. But yeah, like you said, that's a whole nother issue.
I love that you touched on that. We should dig into that again at some.
Yes, the balance
Somewhere.
of enjoying a treat versus relying on food for an emotional escape, and asking yourself, am I refueling my body for God's work, or am I eating to numb something deeper? And there are practical ways to eat well, involving your family, gratitude before meals, things in moderation, and really just breaking unhealthy cycles. It's not taking time to care for yourself and your health is not selfish, it's stewardship and encouraging grace. Dieting and perfection are daily choices. I'm sorry, this isn't about dieting or perfection, but about daily choices that
Yeah.
glorify God.
Yeah.
And like you said, we're not judging anybody, to each their own. At the root of it, though, there are some very practical points here
Mm-hmm.
and the importance underlying this whole thing is that, you know, it, the whole if you don't use it, you lose it kind of
Yeah.
mentality. So we got to stay strong for our kids, stay mobile. We can't just be couch potatoes.
Yeah.
Because they're going to do what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And I had a couple of. Well, one of the points that you said, it brought up a joke. He's a comedian. I saw. He said he's a like a Russian guy, so he has this a great accent that he uses to his advantage.
Sure.
And he's talking on stage, and he's like, my mom always told me, you finish your food because there are children who are starving in Africa. And he's, heavy set guy. He's got a big old belly, and he goes, I sure hope it helped. But it brings about this whole other thing of like, we tell our kids, finish your plate, or no matter what it is. Like, I'm like, finish the broccoli, leave the bread, like or whatever it is. Like, no, you don't have to finish the ice cream. Even though I paid for it, there is a little part of me that's like, about to eat that ice cream.
Yeah.
But, but yes, finish the green beans, finish the greens, eat the salad. Fine. If you don't want the bread, the pasta, the, whatever there, but yes, we tend to do those things too. So there is so much here, that we could go on and on about, but there is one last point. And I know that a lot of parents deal with this too. And I was just talking to a mama about this the other day. When our kids are having issues at school, number one, I think still that the systems can kind of tend to push toward medication.
Yeah.
And when they do, prior to these conversations, typically the kids have been dealing with getting in trouble. When they get in trouble, they get their recess taken away, or they have to eat lunch alone. Those are the first two in the elementary age. Those are the first go-tos. And to me, those are the two most detrimental disciplines that we could possibly delve out. And I understand, I'm not criticizing the school systems for doing that. I get that that's what else are they going to take away? They can't physically touch the child. They can't do a lot of things. But those two things, eating lunch by themselves and not being able to go and get physical activity are the two most important things that would help the problem to begin with.
Yep.
In my opinion, if the kids are having trouble, they need to be outside. They need to run. They need to get some physical activity. And they probably got in trouble for talking in the first place. So they need to go and sit and talk with their friends at lunch.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. I'm not criticizing. I just think that they're, when they come home, also, if we can get them outside, and it might be they don't want to be outside at that point. I don't care. Run.
Go for a little
Go
while.
play. Yes, go play, go outside, go do something with your hands, go dig in the dirt, go run some laps around the house. Whatever it is, eating and movement tend to fix a lot of things. And that's a biblical thing. There's a lot of reference in the Bible about fasting. There's 1 Corinthians 6:19-20 says, "Do you know that your bodies are temples for the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies." Romans 12 says, "Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is true and proper worship." And then, on the eating side, there's, then God said, "I give you every seed bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food." There's, a couple of proverbs. There's so many things that go into, if you really, really dig in, you can find eating advice and nutrition advice in the Bible. You can find things about fasting. You can find about worshiping, our bodies are made for worship, and therefore they are our temples. We get one shot. That's what I tell Luke all the time. He's my youngest. I tell him all the time, you get one body. So if you get that one body, don't you think God wants you to use it and be really good and kind to it? Because
Yep.
I worry about him with just doing crazy stuff and hurting himself. And so I tell him all the time, it's your one, you only get one.
This is it.
It's their one body that you get. And so if you get one body, I bet you that God expects you to take care of it and be good to it and honor what he's given to you.
Yep.
Like all the parts work, you know what I mean? Like, I got one that was a little bit faulty. Like, he doesn't have any faulty parts,
Yeah,
like
yours is good to go.
yeah, and I'm very thankful for my faulty spine, because it's made me the person that I am. And, I've been through a lot of things because of that. And those things have only made me stronger. And I'm going to have to really dig in and depend on God as I continue to age to make sure I can still stand upright.
That's right.
But, it's one of those things. And for us moms, nutrition, I've been on both sides. I've been like, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to care. I'm not going to do the things. And then I've been on the way other side of it, where I'm like, I'm doing the things every single day. I'm getting the steps in. I'm doing the workouts. I'm counting the calories. I'm getting the greens. And I can tell you, as annoying as the B side is, because you're like, I really want pizza.
Yeah.
I really want pasta. I don't care how many calories are in it right now. And sometimes you can act like that, but I feel better.
Way better. And if you
feel better.
And if you do both, if you eat right and exercise,
Mhm.
like, I would argue that there is no better feeling
Yep.
than doing both of those consistently.
Yep.
Because before I ever incorporated working out and training and anything into like my daily schedule, I didn't even realize that I didn't feel well
Yes, exactly.
until I did.
Yep.
And all
Same.
that time I thought, I'm fine. I'm getting by, maybe a little fatigued here and there or whatever. But when you start making it a priority and stick to it,
Mhm.
it's next level of, oh, now I really do feel good.
Yes. Yep. Battling depression.
Yeah.
Go outside, take a walk.
Which you say
Continue to move.
you say go outside. Those were the things when we were talking before this.
Yes.
If you're a mom of littles,
Mhm.
this was told to me many years ago. If they're fussing, if they're upset, crying, and you've tried to feed them, you've tried to change them, and neither one of those things are having, any impact on their behavior, their attitude, I was told a long time ago, put them in water or take them outside.
Love it.
And lo and behold, that has been tried and true.
Yep.
And one of the two has always been the answer.
Yeah. I do not doubt that at all. Being physically active, going outside, moving, forcing ourselves into movement it's key. Nutrition and movement
Yes.
is just the top two. They're biblical. They work. They mentally, physically, emotionally.
The sun, the fresh air, I mean,
Yes.
all of that. And you can see too where there's um, data that suggests that more sunlight and exposure and being outside and living in parts of the world or regions where you can have access outside more over,
Oh yeah.
your mood, depression levels, like they're all directly related.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just want to give like one last little point before we close this one out. Like last night, I hadn't got my workout in. I spent way too much time in front of the computer in the morning, and I showed property. So I should have gotten up earlier. I did not. So by 9 o'clock, I'm like, oh, still haven't done a workout, but I didn't do one yesterday either. So I wanted to get one in because if I fall off more than 2 days, it takes me a while to get that going again.
Yep.
So I'm like, I'm going to do whatever, just going to do it for a couple of minutes. So I pull up this workout. I watch this one girl that I've kind of stuck to. It makes it easier for me to just open her channel than scroll to find a new workout.
Yeah.
So I just open her channel. I find a 20-minute workout, and when I start doing the workout, and she's like doing all these things, but she's moving quickly in this video. And I'm like laying there because I've already had dinner. I told you we had pizza.
Yeah.
And there was like a fried potato, like a random bowl, and I had like 3 of those and dipped them in sauce. And I hate those too. So I'm like, I'm carb heavy at this point.
I love your transparency.
And I go upstairs and I turn this video on, and I'm like so ticked at this girl. She's super annoying right now, and she's moving so fast. And I'm laying on this yoga mat, and I'm like,
wait for me. I've got little legs.
And I'm like, I modify a lot of exercises anyway because of my back. And so I'm laying there and I'm like trying to like lift my legs up, and I'm like, oh, like
Still angry.
I'm mad. She's annoying. She's stupid. Like, oh, I hate her. Like how much she's so energized. Like, but I got to the end of that workout. I didn't do all of the activities that she did, and I was super mad while doing some of them because this is stupid. We just did this, and but I got through it. I did that 20 minutes, and by the time, she's like an Australian, I think, or no, she's British, and she goes, you guys smashed it. It was brilliant. You guys did such a good job. And I'm like, oh, whatever. And like,
power off.
Stupid workout. And like, I turn it off, but I got through it. I didn't do it perfectly. I didn't even do all of it, but I turned it on. I laid on the mat a lot. And
That's okay. It was better than laying on the couch.
Right? And I did lift my legs up a lot. My stomach hurt by the time I was done. But it was what it was. But I did a little something. And I was like, girl, don't eat pizza and potatoes and expect yourself to get through a workout.
No, not in that order anyways.
Yeah. If you're going to do it, you got to do it afterward. All right. Okay. So I know we are oh, mercy. We said we were going to shorten these. They get longer and longer every time. Do you have a mom tip?
Yeah, after we've talked about all of these like health kick things, I was going to say that one of our hacks, and the boys love it, and it's, super unhealthy, of course, is that the muffin mix.
Mm-hmm.
We like to mix that up and actually use that in place of pancakes on like a Saturday morning. So we'll mix, a couple bags of whatever, the mixed berry or blueberry is Holt's favorite.
Yum.
Maddox, of course, likes chocolate chip.
We're going to try this out.
But you mix it up and you just throw them on the griddle, and in place of like true pancake mix, just use the muffin mix and make pancakes with them.
Yum.
It's fantastic.
When we get through our box of sugar-coated waffles, we are going to try
go,
that.
go get some of the muffin mix.
We are definitely going to try that. So I do have a money tip, but I thought of it while I was talking. One of my like hacks is taken from the Brits. Oh, well, really the French. They walk after they eat. You know, you kind of look at like the Italians, the French, you know, they eat a ton of pasta and bread.
Pasta and bread.
Now, of course, there's a whole thing with that because it's not processed the same. So we are not eating the same kind of pasta breads, glutens, carbs that they are. Anyways, but after they eat a meal, it's very traditional for them to go for a walk. And I have tried to implement that because it like, instead of like, okay, I ate, now I'm going to go like sit on the couch and chill or get back on the computer or whatever, a quick walk after you eat, it seems to make a really big difference. Like digestion wise, feeling wise, like the need for more.
Yeah.
Kind of like once I finish the plate, just hop on up, go take a quick walk around. Like I'll walk around the block or something. It's really up and down the street. I like it. It feels good.
You know, it goes hand in hand with the concept of if you park farther out than somewhere normally,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go walk that off.
Yeah, I tell Abel all the time, we take the stairs. He's like, oh, Mom, oh. I'm like, we take the stairs.
Do you have a cutoff to where you take the elevator? Like, will you take them to like floor 5 and then 6 and above is the elevator? Or
No, not mentally. Like a lot of times we just like, if the door isn't right next to the elevator, usually we take the elevator. But like if I see a stair door, I'm like, oh, I'm taking the stairs.
Yeah.
But then like, you know, yeah.
Like I always take the stairs at church. I couldn't tell you the last time I rode the elevator.
I've never ridden that. And well, I mean, I have, but yeah, no, I always take
the stairs.
Yeah. All right. My money lesson was, if you're looking for like a way to kind of dig in biblically to money lessons, there's actually like a King Solomon, study kind of. There's a lot of lessons that we can learn, of course, for our whole lives in the Bible, but one of them, of course, is money, which, by the way, I read a newsletter called Wealthy Kids Academy, and that's why I have a mom's money tip. So if you kind of want a biblical aspect, one good way to kind of look in and dig into the Bible money-wise is through King Solomon. And so some lessons we learned from King Solomon are ask for wisdom first, use your gifts that God gave you, and build for God's glory, not for your own self. King Solomon had plenty of his own stuff. Like he was one of the richest people ever, even to this day, one of the richest people ever to have existed. But he built for God first.
Mm-hmm.
He asked for wisdom from God first. So there's really, really cool lessons that you can learn. So if you're kind of looking for a biblical perspective on money and finance, he's a guy to study.
Yep.
He did it well.
Yeah.
Well, until the end.
You have to read to find out what happened, though.
Yes. Yeah, he really messed it up at the end. But up to that point, he did really good. All right. Are we good? Do you feel like we're good?
Yeah.
We could go on and on about this.
I just think you needed to touch on the fact that your newsletter is for a healthy, wealthy financial foundation.
Ding, ding, ding. She did it.
I got it.
That's not easy to say.
No, it's
she
not.
got it.
No, it's not.
Oh, I liked what you said last week. Nailed it.
Nailed it. Got it.
Yes. Yep. Wealthy Kids Academy. The link is in the description below. And as you all know, we cannot do this without our amazing producer, Daniel, with Stay Stoked Creative Co. And you can find out more about him in the show notes below as well. All right.
Ready to land the plane?
Let's land the plane. This concludes episode 22 of Moms on a Mission, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in. Be blessed.
See ya.